Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Had a bit of a break there, so I appreciate you tuning back in. But I got a lot of great guests lined up in the next few weeks. Like today's guest, he is Cage Legacy's newest welterweight champion. Fights at SPG Charlestown. We talk about a lot of great things today. But before we get into it, make sure you check out WolverineFightwear.com. It's the best way you can help support this podcast. Also, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, as well as follow me on Instagram at Combat Confidential. So, hey, without any further delay, we'll jump right into it with my newest friend, Mr. Alex Fagan. All right, man. All right, so we have Mr. Alex Fagan in today. So, first of all, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it. First thing I'll say is, congrats on your most recent victory, your Cage Legacy welterweight champ.
Yeah,
I was kind of hoping you'd bring your belt.
Yeah, it's locked up in the gym now. That ain't moving nowhere.
Right on, man. All right. So look here. I got a few questions here. They're just quick. Icebreaker type questions. Just quick off the top of your head. Give us something just to kind of get to know yourself. We'll mix them up.
Yeah, perfect.
So they're all kind of out of order. So here we go. The first one. It's a big one. Who inspires you most?
People inspire me most probably my family.
Yeah.
My dad, big brother. People in my family who are everyday working people who work hard, graft hard, and have tried to improve me as a person and create me as the person that I am.
Right on. What motivates you?
To be good at what I do. I don't want to do something and then not put the hours in and then feel like I haven't done enough. Like if you try something, do something for 10,000 hours, you're guaranteed to get good at and master it.
Absolutely. What's your favorite music genre?
80s.
80s?
Yeah,
Really?
80s pop, yeah, probably.
That's way before your time.
Yeah, it's great though.
Who anyone specific?
I don't know currently, off the top of my head if
a song or something?
I don't even know. I probably couldn't pick one. If you ever heard me DJing in the gym when we're all sparring and stuff, everyone knows that I am playing the songs.
I like a good Michael Jackson.
Yeah, bit of
80s Mike is where it's at.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
What is your favorite childhood memory?
My favorite childhood memory is that's actually a tough one.
First thing that comes to mind.
Probably the first time I went, funny enough, into secondary school.
Yeah.
Like I am like 13 going to secondary school, but it was such a big change for me for a kid who was really afraid of going into secondary school, and then knowing after it actually wasn't too bad, as in I didn't like change. I don't really like change as a person. And doing that was like, it's not great, but it's good, and it turned out to be amazing.
That's cool. Mine's fishing with my dad. No specific time in general, but just
doing it.
Out, and that's one thing I want to do with my girls is take them fishing.
Yeah, fishing. I've done fishing once.
Yeah.
I didn't have the patience for it.
I remember I used to I didn't like to touch the worm, so I'd make my dad do it.
Yeah, put the hook try, yeah.
Call or text?
Call.
Really?
Well, voice message probably.
Okay.
I'm dyslexic. I'm shocking at texting. I'm so bad.
Yeah, I prefer a text. You can take text anywhere almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. I just work better speaking than texting.
Right on. Yeah, no, fair enough. All right. Would you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
Introvert. I'd be very to myself. Like unless I know people or get to know them, I'm quite to myself in ways. Like I don't really go out my way to meet loads of new people. In MMA scene, it's different. They have the same type of things as me. Like they like the same things as me, so it's a bit easier. But when people have a different feel to me completely, I don't usually go out my way.
Yeah, no, I'm generally the same way. I'm definitely trying to stick to myself, and it's tough to.
It's not. Yeah, when you want to make new friends or something like that, it's tough. But when you're in the gym, it's great because everyone's got that one thing in common.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Really?
I don't have the taste for coffee.
Yeah. See, yeah. I don't have the taste for tea.
Yeah, you're American.
Yeah. I didn't start drinking coffee even until I moved here.
Oh yeah, no, I can't. If I have a coffee, it's like caramel latte with a load of cream and sugar. Yeah.
The first job I had here, they had free coffee in the canteen, and I'm like, it's free. I'll see what the hype's about, and I was hooked.
Yeah.
I was drinking like six cups a day.
Yeah, no, like I think in Ireland it's a thing. It's like cups of tea, and then people have their way of taking either loads of milk or like no milk.
I wish I could be a tea drinker. I really do. It's like because it's almost like you're in a brotherhood. You know what I mean? It's like
it's our own little tea.
Yeah, it's like the smokers at work, who take their smoke breaks together, and it's just kind of that thing you can, all meet and kind of converse over. So yeah. But I mean, coffee's well accepted generally.
Like everyone in my house drinks tea.
Really?
Like I for years didn't even drink tea. I didn't really like it. And then as I actually start doing like weight cuts and fight camps, you get like skinnier and you get lighter and weight, so you get cold. So cups of tea come really nice to you. Yeah. But like everyone in my house drinks so much of it.
It's probably like next to 0 calorie, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can drink
unless you're whacking out of sugar in it.
Yeah, true. Or I guess in the milk too.
Yeah, loads of milk, but
the odd time I do drink tea, I do drink it black.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be my thing. I'd have a lot of milk in mine.
Right on. All right, that's a good one. 10 years down the line, you're in the UFC, you're a champ.
Yeah.
Who plays you in your biopic, in your movie?
Who plays me?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. I don't know what young actors are around nowadays. I don't watch movies enough. Actually, I don't know a young actor who would actually be able to.
Not to be a young actor.
Yeah, true.
Be anyone. You half the time you watch these like biopics, and you go to look for the actual person, it's totally different.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I actually don't have a clue who I could actually pick who would look like me in some sort of way.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
Yeah, I don't even know an actor who would look to even play it.
I always liked Jake Gyllenhaal. He could play me.
Oh yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal could do a job for most people.
Yeah. All right, last one here. 5 years. Where do you see yourself?
5 years. Be pro in a top organization. Yeah. Hopefully, obviously, top goal I think for every fighter is the UFC. But at the end of the day, it's prize fighting at the end of the day, isn't it? So you want to get to the UFC, and that is the main goal, and be a world champion. But when you retire, your world title is nice, but if you're flat broke with no world title, it's not so good. Like how many champions have said like, I want to be UFC world champion. Yeah, how well he's getting on now. Yeah, like you see all the time happening in boxing. They're like, I am a world champion. Yeah, but you're flat broke. I know a fellow who works in a warehouse and makes more money than you.
Yeah,
so it's you have to make the money while making fighting. That's why you see people going to different routes of PFL and Bellator and even one championship. They pay good money.
I think that I guess that this would be my knock towards the UFC, and also I don't know exactly how it works. Is with other organizations they allow, or I should say, they make it maybe easier for fighters to make money on the side.
Yeah,
with their own individual sponsorships.
Yeah, there's a lot of sponsorships what can be done with big organizations other than the UFC. Obviously, UFC have Venom, and that's their shorts, and then you can't really do much outside of it unless you're a big fighter. Then they do a lot of stuff outside.
Yeah,
but I think it's just always trying to find your niche market while you're fighting. Like every fighter needs to have that small niche. Like if you're just born generic every time, either then you have to be outrageously crazy in the cage where you're entertaining as anything, like Justin Gaethje. Like he's dull as anything outside the cage, but you put him in a cage and he's Mr. Highlight Reel.
Yeah, for sure.
50k bonuses every fight.
Absolutely.
Or you put someone who is super outrageous outside the cage who says mad things, and then when they get into the cage, they'll probably never be a UFC world champion, but they'll make enough money
They're a draw.
from talking their way to it.
Yeah,
It'll be grand for them in the long run.
yeah. They sell they can sell the pay-per-views. So
Yeah.
No, awesome, man. All right, so look, like I said, the first real question I got for you here:
Yes. Far away.
how's combat sports changed your life?
It's changed my life in a big way. I think. Growing up, I was always a kid who would definitely be like to himself. Growing up, I was always a very nervous kid, about everything. And then when it comes to fighting, I'm not nervous. For me, there's no better place than being in a cage. Like being in a fight is the most relaxing feeling in the world because you don't have to focus on anything.
You have just one goal.
Yeah, like I'm young. Obviously, I don't have bills and houses and mortgages and all that stuff like adults do. Where like when I was
Don't
in
call me an adult.
when I was in school and stuff, obviously I had my skill stuff, had like tests and stuff like that, and ever since I got out, like yeah, I work and stuff like that. But like when then I'm in a cage, it's like I have one person in front of me. That is it.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with one thing at a time is the easiest thing in the world. And then when it's up to you, there's no other factors going into it. It's just you. So I find that is the biggest change what's affected me. It's built me confidence heavily, and then it's just made me a better person in general.
It's great. Yeah, I think that's kind of a recurring theme. Usually, like when I ask people that question, I love to ask people that question because, like outside looking in, someone who isn't familiar with combat sports is like, why would anyone want to do that? But there's very much you find out about yourself in it, and I think that there isn't a lot of other things that kind of offer that the way kind of combat sports can.
Yeah, I don't think like as a competitor, like even if you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're doing fight, like any sort of K1, Thai boxing, MMA, at the end of the day, it's you.
Yeah.
Like you have your coach, and it is a team sport. Like I always tell people, it is a team sport. You compete solely, but it is a team sport, as in your whole team, your whole camp with them, you train with them, you do everything with them, and then when it comes down to it, it's just you. But I find that's why it builds people's confidence. I think like everyone's motivating each other to do it, and then when you get in there, then you're like, all right, I have the confidence because they have motivated me through it to get here and know that I am good enough to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think more younger kids should they don't necessarily need to, train to do MMA, but some sort of combat sport, because it does instill that confidence in people. And I know it did for me, and I know pretty much everyone I ever talked to about this, it always comes back to confidence. It's, kind of built them up to just be just a even more slightly confident person.
Yeah, like I coach a fair few kids, and I coach kids, I coach intro adults, especially with like intro adults and stuff like that, because like they're only beginning MMA and they're grown adults, so a lot of them have lives and they're fully in their life, and all of a sudden they come to something what they can't do. Like I'm sure you remember the first time you tried to do a shrimp, or do a bridge or a roll. You're like, why am I so bad at it? And then you'll see some kid on the mat who's like 12 and he's inverting on his neck and he's doing all the movements he wants. Like one of the best examples in our gym would be a young fella, Leon.
Yeah.
Leon Galler. He fought I think 2 cage legacies before mine.
Okay.
He fights cadets.
Yeah.
And like he joined MMA about 2 years ago and he was like 93 kilo. That was at like 14. Like he was a big kid. Now he's at 61 and he's 16, but in 2 years he's won bronze in the worlds. He's won the nationals at 67, 61. He's a blue belt in 2 years, and he's just competed fully. But when he first joined, he had no real confidence when it came to actually being on the mat and confidence. He'd be confident outside of it, but on the mat he wasn't. But now he's flying. Like he doesn't bother him at all. No matter what happens, he can fully move. He can do everything he needs to do, and he wins. Yeah, that's the main thing for him.
I know that winning. There's something to be said in winning and losing. But just like when you win, and you put all that time in, it really makes it worth it. And then even like if you lose, it's because you've built up your confidence, your self-confidence in yourself. You know, losing isn't, you know, sure, you know, it's not great. No one, you know, I don't think anyone really likes that feeling of losing, but it's like, you know, you can accept it a lot easier because you know, you did your best.
Yeah, like as of me with me MMA record, like I'm 4-4, but going into MMA, like I only turned 18. I had to literally wait until I was 18 to have an MMA fight, and I made my debut in the IMAFs. So that's where like I went internationally, fought for Ireland, and made my debut. But it was a big thing for me because I fought K1 before I even went to MMA because I couldn't get headshot fights in Ireland, and I won all my fights.
Yeah,
I didn't have a problem. And then when I went to MMA, then I lost straight away. And I was like, oh, this isn't great. Like, I just travelled internationally, went the whole way, and then lost. And I was like, all right, it's my fourth fight. Like, it is what it is. I lost. I went, fought a good opponent straight away at the highest level and lost. Then my next fight, I won. And then I lost, then 3 on the bounce.
Yeah.
Like, I lost a few tight, like a split decision and then some close decisions. And then in one of my fights, and I popped my knee as well. And then fought 3 rounds with dislocated knee. And so it's just annoying things what are happening. And then obviously now I'm on the bounce with 2 finishes and then a decision to win the KJC title.
You're streak of 3 at the moment, right?
Yeah, streak of 3, fourth round finish, second round finish, and then a decision.
Yeah, and I think, you know, even like all your losses that you've had in MMA, they've all been by decision. Which
yeah, I've never been.
You haven't been knocked out or submitted or anything.
Nah,
that in itself is an accomplishment, I think. You
know?
Like
I've fought some like good people, like say Jake Gilpin and things like that, who he went out and knocked a lot of people out. I fought Jordan Scully. I dislocated my knee and went 3 rounds with him on the ground with 1 knee. And I didn't get finished. I fought Dewey Harrison, who he's doing super well as well right now. I've never had the problem of being hurt. I've never been clipped. I've never been rocked. Not even in the gym have I been. I've been hit with body shots and dropped, but I've never been hurt to the head. Everyone's been submitted in the gym, sadly. That's one thing I'll never get away from. But I've always tried to fight good competitions constantly. I've never tried. I find an amateur, a lot of people want to go, I'll fight him, and then I'll fight him, and I want to fight him, and you're just like, yeah, but they're all lads who are on not the top end. You're fighting the bottom end. Of course you're going to keep winning. It looks good. Then when you go pro, then you go and fight someone decent and then lose straight away.
Get smashed.
Yeah, that's the only time it matters. Is when you're pro, it's the only time it realistically matters.
Yeah.
Like amateur doesn't. You look at boxers, they have like 200 fights.
Yeah, it's all sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I think people they're too worried about protecting their amateur record. Which, look, if you're someone like me, maybe who I have zero interest in ever being a professional.
Yeah.
One, I'm too old. I'm not that old. You know, and I started way too late. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just, you know, I'm too old as it is. You know, so like if I were to ever do it, it would be if I were to have any legitimate amateur fights, like I would want to protect it. But you know, like if you're someone who's trying to make a career out of it, or eventually you do want to be professional, like amateurs where you need to get all your practice in.
Yeah, like I think the big thing what a lot of people do,
even practicing losing.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
it is good to lose. Like I heard there's many fighters, even an amateur, who didn't lose. Like my teammate Max never lost an amateur, and like he's gonna go pro, and Bilisky probably won't lose that. He probably won't lose in pro.
Yeah.
And if he does lose, it's gonna be at the highest level that he loses at.
Yeah.
He's not gonna lose at the domestic level really, or he can't see it anyway. But a lot of my teammates, even the higher level ones like Andreas and stuff like that, Andreas has loads of losses in amateur.
Mm-hmm.
Now he has a load of wins, or like even Carl McConway, which Carl McConway in our gym is like fought literally everyone. Like he's still amateur now, and like he's gonna go pro. I think probably after his next fight, just because he wants to get one back in before he goes pro. But he's fought like Caden Loughlin and everything. Yeah. You look at Caden's in the UFC. Like everyone he's fought are like in Cage Warriors, in Bellator, in the UFC, and like he's bet them or lost them. Like his record's like 13-13. But he's fought everyone you can possibly fight in MMA and amateur. So when he goes pro, a lot of lads he's going to fight aren't even as good as the lads he's fought amateur.
He's already very well seasoned.
Yeah, like you go to like a lot of Europe. I think Europe MMA scene's better than the American MMA scene. A lot of the higher like Brazil and things like that, because the level is a lot higher, because we have a lot more amateurs than we have in like America and Brazil. Like Brazil don't really do amateurs. America do a bit of it, but they don't do much of it. It's not big over there for amateur, mate. It's just go pro and then fight and find out how it's going to go for you. Where here it's like, have an amateur fight, have about 10, then go pro, then build yourself in pro, and then eventually see who you get as you go on. Like if you look at, even in the UFC rankings, like I think everyone in the top 15, majority are European-based fighters. None of them are really Americans anymore.
I think so. No, I think never
like
really
all
looked at it like that.
all the
you're
champions are like there's a few Americans, but like heavyweight is Jones, but then it's Tom. Light heavyweight now is Pereira. He's Brazilian.
Yep. Yeah.
Middleweight is Dricus. He's South American. Oh, South African. Same with welterweight's Leon. Lightweight is
Yeah,
Lamb.
I never really looked at it like
Featherweight is Taporia.
Mm-hmm.
Bantamweight's then, who is even bantamweight nowadays? Sean O'Malley.
Yeah,
he's American.
Yeah, they just fought.
And then flyweight's Pantoja. So there's one including Jones, was one American champion.
God. We need to step our game.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's No, I think you're right. In the States, it's in the States, it is viewed a bit differently, especially with like the amateur scene. I think a lot of it has to do with like things are very regional, and now I know that. No, I don't have a lot of experience in it, but from what I've seen, it doesn't look like there's a lot of I'm trying to say like you're fighting the same people.
Yeah,
and it's a small group to begin with. So then the only way to kind of open that pool up is to be pro.
Yeah, like I know Owen, my coach, Roddy, he started a thing over in America called Nuka MMA. He started college MMA now. He has in America.
Yeah,
he has his own organization. So there's, I don't know how many colleges are involved in it, but he has a few colleges, and they all like compete against other colleges.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's the way of, like wrestling is and things like that. So he's done it now for MMA, and like he's doing it from Ireland over to America to do it.
Yeah.
So he has a fair few MMA colleges, and they every few months they set up a show and you fight someone from a different college.
That's cool. So it's like like the NCAA with like football and basketball.
Yeah,
and all that. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I can maybe once I could see something like that getting picked up by the NCAA eventually. Assuming because I know combat sports in general MMA in general is still kind of like taboo.
Yeah,
it's not looked on.
As a real sport sometimes. Yeah.
But all right, here let's. All right, what makes you feel most alive?
Most alive, has to be fighting in a cage.
Yeah.
Other than being in a cage, is doing things what gives me uncomfort.
Yeah.
I like I'm a kid who's always been quite like to myself, but I've done a lot of things what I didn't particularly like to do. Like I've tried a lot of things and I haven't liked it. I didn't like it. I just wouldn't do it again.
Okay.
But at least make myself to try do it. Like as I've got older, I've got better at it. When I was younger, I was really bad for it. Like not doing anything I didn't want to do. But as I've got older, I've got better. But I think it's important to have adversity in your life. I think everyone gets it. Like no matter which way it comes, it could be like small things like you fail a test, or it could be bigger things like someone's died in your family, or you've tried something and you've failed. I think it is important to have it more than not do it. I think that's the biggest thing for me would be things in life like cage. Like as you get used to fighting, obviously worse things can happen in a cage. Like I popped my knee in a cage, or like someone getting knocked out or choked out, and that isn't great. But at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. You get put in a submission, you tap out. If you get knocked out, where you won't even know what happened, so you'll probably get over it anyway.
Yeah, no, it's that overcoming adversity.
Yeah, I think it's a big thing. Like even in life, or if you're doing something in general, like if you have a job, you're guaranteed to mess up at some point. Like you're guaranteed to mess up an email, or if you're working like a warehouse, send something on the back of a truck wrong, or anything. You can literally do anything. Stack a shelf wrong if you're working in a shop. Something will go wrong. You just have to deal with it. It's not no matter what it is. Once you haven't gone and killed someone, I think you'll be all right pretty much.
All right. So before I forget, I did want to ask. So you work a little bit with like the Train Alta.
Yeah, I've done a bit there.
How do you feel about that? What do you? Actually, hold on. When did you start doing it? And then what do you do? And then how do you feel about it?
So I usually, for the last few, I've only kind of came to the fights and cornered that fights and things like that. I started, the first one I helped do was Wimp to Warrior.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even the Alta. We had a few lads who done the Wimp to Warrior, like Lee and Rowe and stuff at my gym, who still now train. They're still trying now. I think the main thing what a lot of them have, like, it's hard enough to get up at the time to get up at. Like, I think for most gyms, I think they all do it early mornings. They all get up at like, 5 or 6. Yeah. So as in like the last year I've been walking from early morning, so I haven't been around to coach them. I usually still go to the fight shows, and they're always all welcome then to come to my intro classes in the evenings then if they need extra training. I had a few lads, like a lad who won, Dustin the one gone, Emmett. I think he won by submission. He done like all my introduction classes, so he was constantly getting like 2 days training every day, so he was guaranteed to kind of get the one up on a lot of people he's fighting. But as of currently, I won't be able to help for this one. I'll probably still do the fight show because I'll do corners and warm people up. Because I think it's good to see them there and they're all nervous and it's a bit different for a lot of them, I think, because it's hard to accept you're gonna get into a cage and fight someone else. Like it's not easy.
I think for a lot of them, they haven't done anything.
Yeah,
remotely close to that.
Yeah, you get the odd few of like, they don't box when they were a kid, or they done like taekwondo or karate or something like that. But none of them have actually done like consistent training. Like you might get a few lifted a few weights and they're big and muscly. You get a few of them, but none who have actually consistently trained. So I think it's a big thing, especially like they're getting coached all by fighters, mainly people who have fought, so they know how they feel. Like when they're stepping in that cage, I know how that feels. It is uncomfortable unless you really embrace and enjoy it. And some people enjoy it more than others. And then the one thing I always tell people, I'm like when they tell me, oh, they're not nervous, I'm like, you're lying. Like, accept that you're nervous. It's okay to be nervous. You're not doing something that is natural for a human to do. Your body goes into a weird way of reasoning on why you should, me ribs starting to hurt now. It's not. Your body's telling you here, like, do you really want to go through it? But once you go in and that cage door locks behind you, kind of like, off you go. You have to fight now.
And I know when I did my first one, like I wasn't nervous until, because I didn't know who I was fighting.
Yeah.
It was the day of. I learned the guy's name. And then I didn't even meet him until they brought us to the back. And he was standing on the other side there, and I saw him. And then that's when it kind of got... I got a little nervous. And then I'm like, I don't know. And then I'm like, just fuck it, I'm here. And then I got in the cage, and they locked the door. And then I was like, oh, shit. Like, then it was weird, because a flush of nervousness came over me. And then as soon as the ref clapped his hand, it was off. And, you just kind of... do what you remember you were trained to do.
Yeah, or if not, go out and just swing and hold them to the ground, one of the two. Because you see that happen a lot. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, they haven't gone and at least ran away.
Yeah.
Like, at least, like, you can say all the things, and, like, people have done the Alta now, or coached Alta. People train, and and all of a sudden, when it comes to about 3 weeks before their competition, or their fight, they're like, I've had to injure myself. I'm sure you have. Yeah.
I went into it. I had a broken toe. Well, I don't know if it was officially broken, but it hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I'm not kicking with this leg.
Yeah.
And so I knew that going in. yeah, no, I remember I didn't tell anyone because I told a couple people. I didn't really tell anyone because I didn't want them to be like, oh, you can't fight with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think there was an event, or there was an Alta event. Maybe I don't know if it was this last one or the one before it. There was a girl who she was set to fight, and then minutes before the fight was supposed to happen, or yeah, like minutes before the fight was supposed to actually happen, they bailed.
Yeah.
And, like, that's such a bummer, you know. And,
yeah, like it's not fair either on the other person. And I know like none of them are actual, like none of you are actual fighters, so it's a bit different. And like if an actual fighter done that, like there'd be a lot of problems at MMA shows if someone actually done that. Like you've been to MMA shows, you see what they're all like. So if someone done that, like for people who've done Alta, like you pay a lot of money to do it. It isn't cheap to do.
No.
So you may as well go and fight it.
Or at least for, like, I know a lot of people who had apprehensions by getting hit in the face. Like, Alta's nice because you had that kind of option of either you could do it just grappling, or no headshots.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's fair. You still get the experience.
Yeah.
With it, it's like it's like a light version of it, but like it's you still get the same feeling going in and coming out. You know.
Yeah, I think someone down in Cork, wasn't it? He had one leg.
Yeah,
I
can't remember that fellow's name.
Yeah, because obviously I know a few of the fighters down in Cork, and I used to always see him on the SPG Cork Instagram. Like he has one leg, so we done like a boxing fight on it.
Yeah, he did. It was like one round of boxing and then one just grappling.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that shows us a different way of doing it. Like
absolutely,
like it's good that they can make them versatile matches to suit the people who want to still compete and are maybe afraid of getting hit and hurt. Like I've seen the other shows, people have been like knocked out cold.
Yeah,
like bad.
Yeah.
Like,
it's always scary to see that too.
Yeah,
especially scary to see that at like a novice level.
Yeah, like realistically, it's all been like how many weeks is it exactly?
20 weeks.
Like 20 weeks to train, kind of get somewhat nutrition into us, and realistically, no one really sticks with that much until about 2 weeks before when you have to make the weight, because there's like a big gap away. Like you could fight someone who's like 5 kilos heavier than you. Like there's a fella of our gym, Gary, before like he fought a fight, and I went to the third round then, and he kicked your man in the head in the third round. Your man just fell face first, like, and he was out. Like there was worse than I've seen some MMA shows. People been hitting, and these aren't people who are like agreeing to fully train full time and training twice a day. Like
I think there should be a little more of an emphasis on that you don't have to that you can do grappling or no headshots.
Yeah,
I don't know. Perhaps they do. Like I'm not totally involved with this, so perhaps they do that. But I think like you might even get more people in, or you might get more people in to do the program, and you might get more people to maybe stick with it at the end if they know that is
an option.
It's a real option. It's not. It's not a. Like what I'm trying to say, it's not like someone's
full purpose towards it.
Yeah, you're not cutting this part out. You're not. What am I trying to say? I can't think of the word. Like you're not letting anyone down, or you're not, kind of half-assing it, or you're not, lack of a better term, being a bitch about it.
Yeah.
Like it's, you can do the other two, like so the grappling and the no headshots, and it's still looked on, like it's still admired as being, like the, going full contact.
Yeah, like the one thing I always tell people, even if they do the Alta and say they don't want to, like, we always try to emphasize on people straight after the Alta, I'm like, I want to see you in the gym next week again.
Yeah.
I know you're going to go out and you're going to have fun after tonight, and even win or lose, you're going to go out, have drinks. But I'm like, I want to see you in the gym on Wednesday, say. You're fighting the Saturday. I want to see you in the gym on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And, like, it's important to do that to people, I think, because as soon as you don't go back and do it,
it tough.
Crumbles them. Yeah, a lot. Like, if I find a lot, like in our gym, we have, like, even if they don't want to train again, like, we'll try to get them to do the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like, I think jiu-jitsu is a big thing. Like, yourself, like, how do you find jiu-jitsu a lot of the time?
I love it. It's good cardio, and like you work, like you're not getting hit in the face. usually. Sometimes you get like a stray elbow or something, but no, it's. I think for someone who's not going to compete, like who has no plans on competing in MMA and they still want to stay active in, some sort of combat sport, just do jiu-jitsu or just do like straight striking.
Yeah.
Both of those are very good. But like I love it. Like I just been off for it's probably almost like 4 months now, 5 months now. Just I was dealing with a lot of personal stuff, and then like my health is starting to kind of get to me, and like just recently, like I'm starting to feel a lot better, and I just got back in the gym and like I feel amazing. I've been missing it, and I was worried that if I took a lot of time off, that just exactly that I wouldn't I wouldn't go back.
Yeah,
basically.
like,
and I still I still stay involved. I work with Cage Legacy. I try to stay involved with as many events as I can. Like Grapple Kings, and I think that really kind of kept me interested, and it kept me kind of focused on like I need to get back because I'd see these other people performing, and I'm like, fuck, I wish I could
do something with them. Yeah. I think it is a big thing. Like stepping away for something for a long time, it's hard to do it again, especially in like things like MMA and jiu-jitsu. People evolve. Like people you were training with 4 months ago, know some you don't,
and you started at the same time.
Yeah,
and then it's
people progress quicker, and it can kill people's confidence. It can, like I've seen it happen. People like I start training from a young age. I've seen people who done it 3-4 years with me all the way up, and then because I started about 10 or 11, and then by the time you hit 16, people start going out drinking and they start having more fun. They get like girlfriends and things like that, and then like, my girlfriend doesn't want me to go train. She wants to spend time with me, or do you want to go out with the lads? And it's grand, but then eventually it consistently happens, and then you don't, and then you start getting a job, and then everything kind of runs away from you, and then you're 22 and you want to come back and try it, and you're just like all the lads you used to train with who are 16 who've actually stuck around since they're 16. You come back and you're just
they're all straight killers.
There's no chance you beating them. There's literally none.
Yeah,
and it happens every time.
It's tough like that, but like I don't know, I tend to be the kind of person where like I want people to be better than me. So like I like that people are doing good. Because like hopefully some of that might come back on me, or it might help someone else that they're around or whatever. So like I really like when people around me are doing well, and I think that when you're doing something that is difficult, like MMA or combat sports, and as much as maybe you want to beat somebody, you're especially when you're friendly or friends with someone, you're so happy that when they are able to kind of be better than you and do something,
do something good
that you want to do as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I think you see a lot with your teammates and stuff as well. I think you see that a lot with if they do well, you want everyone in the gym to do well. Like I think it's just a natural reoccurrence. Then it's kind of the aura around the gym and around the people you're with. If you do well, you're like, all right, I have a title. Now let's get you a title and get you a title and you get you a title. And then when he goes pro, we all go pro.
Yeah.
And then you all just progress better and better and better together. It feels like you're achieving more then. Absolutely. As a group.
100%. So going on that, how do you gauge your own improvements?
The biggest thing for me was to gauge my own improvements. Like you can improve in the gym, and it's great to improve the gym, but improving the gym doesn't improve the fights.
Okay.
So like, as in, like you can get good at it and move in the gym, and it is, but I know people who are terrible in the gym and great in fights, and then amazing in the gym and terrible in fights.
Yeah.
I had the problem. I didn't have it for K1 weirdly, but I had it for MMA. Where like I go into the gym and I spar everyone, and it's handy. It's not. I spar high level people, and it's no problem for me at all. And then I was stepping into the cage and I was making fights way too hard for myself.
Yeah.
Like way harder than they should have been. Like no disrespect to my opponents, but it was harder for me than it should have been.
Okay.
Like if they had to come to the gym, they're not winning the rounds. Like they just aren't. But that's a problem for some people. I had it now of kind of clicked the problem a bit now that like I'm not performing to my full potential, I'm performing enough to make sure it's a done deal when I get the fight done. So I think the biggest thing to improve is obviously put yourself in the situation of competition and put yourself in the position of adversity. Like I always tell people in the gym, when Roddy ever shows the technique and then I coach, I'm like, all right, now do an isolation version of it. So if you're doing striking, you've been doing the jab for the whole week, you're going to do a round, he's going to have every single shot and you're going to have a jab. That is it. You have to do it around and only be able to use your jab. The only way you're going to get good at it is if you do that. So they're allowed to kick, punch, everything at you, and you just have to do a jab. Yeah. And Roddy will make people do it a lot. Like we do a lot of like say wrestling, and it's positional based.
Okay.
So like we could do the wall one day, and you shoot a double leg. You start with the double leg, hands around the legs against the wall, and the other person defending 100%. You just have to keep trying to finish that double leg. And as soon as he escapes or you finish, new person in. And you have to do it to them. You do a 5-minute round of that. Do a group of 4. So it's 20 minutes of work. You're going to be defending for 3 rounds, but you're going to be attacking for 5 minutes straight in a double leg constantly. Yeah. If you can do it tired and fresh, it's a complete different ball game.
That's cool. That's a good technique there. So like, what is it like having Roddy as your coach?
Yeah, no, like having Roddy as a coach is a godsend.
Yeah.
I think having someone, the biggest thing I think is obviously Roddy has the experience of being a fighter, which is the big thing. Like some coaches are great coaches, but not great fighters. Some people are great fighters and not great coaches.
Yeah. It doesn't always translate.
Yeah, but we're blessed in the way of we have a great coach who was a great fighter. And anyone who's been around the Irish MMA scene knows how good Roddy was as a fighter when he was a fighter, and knows how good he is as a coach. There's a very small few who can say that they're as good as a fighter as they are as a coach. I think there's a very small niche market of them. Really, I think the only one other than Roddy who was a like really high level coach and fighter, the main two would be like probably Paddy with D24, with Houlihan Martial Arts, of course. Chris Field, actually, in all fairness, as well. He was Cage Warriors champion, and he has all these fighters. And Phil Wolfbeater is grown a bigger gym now. Obviously, he has Dara, which Dara's flying like. But
great.
He was a great fighter back in his day. But mainly after that, there's not many who are really high level fighters who are coaches. They might have competed in other sports. Like Andy Ryan was a huge judo competitor, but he's a good coach. Redzer is obviously a coach as well. Yeah. But I think it doesn't always translate for fighters like Kavanagh. Like John didn't have loads of fights like Roddy, and like he didn't fight at like Cage Warriors or anything like that. Obviously they weren't really around when he was around, but he didn't have that. But then he turns out to be an absolute mastermind of a coach. Yeah. Like it doesn't always translate, but when it does, I think it's a big thing. Like he knows, like Roddy knows how you feel when you're going to the cage. Like them things where I'm saying like, I know how you feel. Like your body's gonna make all these things. I'm not making these up. These things what Roddy used to say to me growing up. Like a lot of stuff you pick up and you go with.
Is there any any piece of advice he's ever given you that kind of really sticks with you, or maybe you call back to a lot?
If all goes wrong, fight. But like it's a thing, especially I've took in my last few fights. If everything's going wrong, just fight until you win. Just don't give up on anything. Like if you watch, say my last fight, that fourth round for me was awful. I got taken down and just held. Second fight, then I attacked the neck constantly for the whole round. Third round, do the exact same thing or stay on top and throw shots.
Yeah.
But like obviously Rain start spinning on his neck in midair somehow. I don't know how he done that one, but
that was very impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive, very athletic. But it's a thing Roddy used to always say. I think it's actually a BJ Penn saying. I think Roddy robbed it from BJ Penn, but it is a good saying to go by. If it's all gone wrong, just fight. Like just keep going and push it until the wheels fall off. Realistically, I think that's the best thing. I always picked up. Like we always have other coaches in the gym. We have Bruno, who's one of our jiu-jitsu coaches. We have Gav, who coaches kids and teens, and he's always coached me. Clint's our wrestling coach. I'm a coach, and my big brother's a striking coach as well, which you'll see him always holding pads and stuff for me, or Roddy. Like, he basically pads everyone in the gym. He's always in everyone's corner as well now. But like, we all have kind of the same tendencies. We all mimic kind of what Roddy says, because we've been around for so long. He's coached all of us. So we all, other than Bruno comes from his own gym and jiu-jitsu. But other than that, like, we all kind of mimic him. So the same things get said to everyone. So it's like a universal thing through the gym.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. I know you kind of hit on this earlier about who inspires you, but I guess my question would really be is, like, why do they inspire you, to do what you do?
I think it's the work ethic of everyone. Like, especially in me, like, my family is the main people who inspire me. Like the work ethics between all of them. They've had the ups and downs in life and still kept going. Like, if you're anyone from like any kind of common area, I suppose, like north side of Dublin's it's always a big thing down for that. It's known as a shithole, realistically. Like, it is, like,
Southside's not that much better.
Yeah, depending on what south side you're on.
Yeah.
But everyone has their adversities, and what you see in, like, the small, like, I don't look at big goals as big things. Like, small goals can just be as good as, like, big goals. Like, my man and dad always said, once our kids have gone to school and they're happy and have a happy life, that's them complete.
Yeah.
And that's not everyone's goal. It's not like everyone's goal growing up is like, I want to be a professional footballer. I want to do this. I look up to Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's great, and he has them thriving stories, but that's not everyone's life. That's a 0.001%. It's very minimalistic. Where, look at the people in their average everyday life. Your teachers, the people who work in the shops. Yeah, they have a house. They have a family. They provide for their family. That's the main things you need in life. Like, my dad works full time. My mom always took care of us and worked when she was younger, and now full time takes care of all of us. Like, she takes care of the house, the whole lot. And to that's harder than what most people can ever do.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that it's easy to be rich, but at Ronaldo's sake now, say, for who's a ridiculously rich footballer, he's worked hard to get where he is, and he's worked really, really hard. But he could have stopped at 20.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, my man there, or anyone in my family, is never gonna get to stop. Like, how many people do you see now, even in their 60s and stuff, they're not really retired?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's
and
working retirement.
Yeah, it's a thing where, like, people always look to the A-lists instead of looking at the normal, average, everyday people. Like, I think that's a big thing. Like, the working class areas are, people always say that are, like, the rich people want to make them look like your worst enemy. It's them who are, and it's the celebrities should look at. When realistically, most working class people are, a lot of times it is the other way around. It's the working class people are the ones who benefit you and help you the most. Like, it's them who are, like, for fighters, it's them giving you sponsorships.
Yeah.
Like, as me, I can't go text Nike and be like, here, could you sponsor me? But I can text the local shop down the road and be like, here, could you sponsor me for anything? Like, that'd be great. Like, it's the small people who help you along the way more than the big companies. Big companies and big people want you when you're big with them.
They come in when you're already established, and
they're not there to support you at the start when, like, I'm, like, fighting in the Red Cow and they're buying tickets off me. Like, it's not then, it's me family and me close friends of the area who want to support me and help me, because that's who's around me. Like, they're the people I look towards and look for help and try to help, like, who deserve the help because they're hard working people. Not everyone from them areas are good hard working people. There is a lot more than bad. So I think it's important to be inspired, especially by the good people in them areas. Like, I'd like to say my man are good people, and my family are. But there's anyone from them types of areas, like Roddy Litchie's from 5 minutes from my house. Okay. His whole family grew up where I live. I know his nieces and nephews, and they all grew up around me. And loads of other top fighters grew up around me. But a lot of them, I think, find, especially from like them type of areas, they look up to their mas and dads and not Ronaldo and Messi and all the top A-list.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear. I hope to do something that my kids can kind of, look up to me for as well. So I don't know. I think I'm on the right track for that. But
yeah, I think for a lot of people, it's just everyone I think's in the same boat as like you're always figuring it out. Like you're always winging it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like no matter what you're doing, you're like, you have your set things you have to do.
Yeah.
And then the rest is kind of like, I'll figure out as I go, and then we'll hope for the best.
Yeah. But here, look. Who we got here? So here, what is there? Is there anything that you would go back and try and do again?
Start MMA younger again if I could. No, I think with a lot of me, like I'm very young in life, so I don't really have much to look back. Like I'm 20.
Yeah.
Like there's not much for me to look back on that I can be like, I'd love to change that, and that. Like how much things you could look back on your life when you're a teenager and be like, I'd love to change this or
and
that.
Your perspective's a bit skewed too. So,
yeah, it's not that I can change a lot or change a lot, but I am a big believer in that thing of like, if I change something, it might not work the same as like, I could have been like, I would have rather study for my leaving cert more and focus on skill way more for my leaving cert and get a good, amazing college degree and get that. But if I'd done that, I wouldn't be as happy as I am now.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm happy. I know what I want to do. I want to do fighting. Obviously, I have a job and you need to make money, and you always need that second kind of goal. But I want to still be able to prove to myself by the time I'm done fighting that I gave her everything that I can say. I'm not ashamed of what I've done in fighting. If I go to the end, say to the very end of my career, and be like, I gave it everything. Like, all right, it didn't work out, but I gave it.
Mm-hmm.
I know at least I could say I didn't half-arse it, or I didn't do what I didn't want to do for the sake of someone else, or doing something like, I think fighting's 10% of your life probably, at best, maybe 10. So I find after that, well then you can pick up where you left off. Like I have like diploma degrees and stuff like that where I can pick up where I left off. I can go back and do that.
That's good. Yeah, that's good that you have that.
Yeah, I think like no matter, like you can always pick up a job at the end of the day. You can always get a job in a warehouse or on site and work, and you'll make alright money. You go be a labourer, you make €18 an hour, and you'll live off €18 an hour, no bother. But will you be happy when you're in the winter time and you're on site and you're? But like some people are happy with that, and that's perfectly grand. But it's not. It's not what I. It's all the clinking of the metals. It's not what I want.
Yeah.
What I want is to put everything I possibly can into fighting, see if it works out for me, and then have me backup if it doesn't. If it doesn't work out well, at least I can say I went for it. At the end of the day, I do that way. That's why I look at everything in life. If I say I went for it, I can't be upset with it.
Yeah, for sure.
By the end.
Look, man, I am looking forward to everything you got coming up. I love watching everything you've done so far. And you know, I really appreciate your time, coming here and talk to me. And you know, I hope we can maybe do this again sometime.
Yeah, 100%.
So we'll end really quickly on this. So if you have to say one thing about combat sports, to kind of people, what would you say to them?
Don't overthink it and just go for it.
Right on.
Your brain will be your own worst enemy. Always, it'll be when you start something new. Your brain's always your worst enemy. Just go for it and try it.
Right on. Look, like I said, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you very much.
Heck yeah.
Man, this might be something lethal. Like a beast that can't be tamed. This the kind of rage you can't contain. Yeah, this might be something lethal. You can really see the flames. Feeling like it's borderline insane. Man, this might be something lethal. Yeah, this might be something lethal.